Welcome back to another episode of Riding with Mr. Ruckdashel. Today is episode 13, and we are editing for paragraphs. I know. Really exciting stuff. Let's get to it. Alright, make sure you got those journals out. And today's big idea is writers consider paragraphing during moments of change. So we will be looking at the different kinds of change that occur specifically and how that'll affect my story that I've been writing this whole time. I know quite a few of us tend to look over paragraphing. We just end up writing in a big chunk and kind of throw it on the paper and maybe indent a couple times and call it good. So, when to paragraph? We paragraph when there's a change in setting, time, action, mood, or a new character speaks. So that means, for setting, that's pretty obvious. Our setting shouldn't change except for when we're going into a new episode. So probably won't see a lot of setting change. As far as time goes, often those are a little related to the setting. It could be a day later and you're still in your house, and that would change. It would give you a new paragraph. However, that should also probably be a new episode for us. So we would want to look at a really small change in time, like maybe 10 minutes later. Because hopefully one of our episodes is really not more than an hour's worth of time. Okay, so action. So in my story, if you remember from before, I get out on the field and I'm getting ready to kick the ball. And each of those sections where I'm getting grabbed by Quentin, those each little bits would be new paragraphs. Mood. So this is really having to do with the mood of the story and how the mood changes. And that means that this one, more than the rest of them, could be a little bit more opinion-y. As far as how you're changing how things feel. Finally, new character speaks. That should be one that you've definitely become very familiar with, because whenever we have dialogue, it's new paragraph, new paragraph, new paragraph for any new person speaking. It doesn't mean new to the story. It means you go from one person to the other person. So in other words, a change in speaker. All right. So looking at my story, notice all of those indents to where some of the lines are on, or some of the words are on the far left side, and some of them are tucked in just a little bit more. So I've already done quite a bit of paragraphing. However, there's probably more work that I could do paragraphing. So I am going to take this out of full screen mode so that I can do some editing with you. All right, so let's start reading from the beginning and notice if any changes occur. David's stomach felt empty as he walked slowly out of Mr. Simmons' office. Pausing for a moment, David stared out the window. All right, the days were getting shorter, and already it seemed closer to dark outside. How long had he been in here? Had he already missed afternoon recess? Okay, so I think that there's a bit of a tone or a mood shift. He's pausing for a moment, staring out the window. Now, the days getting shorter and it already seemed close to dark outside, that I feel like is a bit of a it could go along with the idea of the window, because this is one sort of thing where he's paused at the window and is noticing it's dark outside. So I could understand maybe putting a paragraph there, but I still think those go together. Walking out slowly from Mr. Simmons' office, to me, that's like one action. And then I actually think, pausing for a moment could be considered, a different action. So probably putting a new paragraph right there. My computer is going to be annoying like that, huh? And I can do that. I've got this really big space there, and I have no idea why, but that's okay. So, we got to this point where he had some thoughts. Now, whenever a new person speaks, we want to paragraph. And technically speaking, these are thoughts. However, we do want to treat thoughts and speaking similarly. So we're going to go ahead and paragraph there as well. Yes, excellent. See if we can't try to do a little something about that. Make it, no. Yeah, remove space after paragraph. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that beauty right there. Oh, yes. I've been wanting to figure that out for a long time, and you witnessed it. What a great day. There we are. Got that done. So, let's continue. Shadows stretched toward him, long and thin. One almost looked like his mother when she was in one of her moods. So, I think that this is kind of a shift in how we're talking here. It just feels so different. So, I'm going to put a paragraph there. So, he's describing what his mom looks like as far as the shadow goes. And now he's got a thought. So we'll put a paragraph there. It says, what are my parents going to say, he thought. So new paragraph. Mr. Simmons' advice had seemed easy enough in David's head, but he doubted the populars would bother with it. David's footsteps echoed down the hall. So all of a sudden now, his footsteps echo down the hall. That's a new action. If he felt alone, he wished someone would choose what to do for him. Looking down the hallway. Looking. So action. His footsteps seemed to get louder in his mind as he walked down the hall. New action. What do I do? What choice is right? Walking down the whitewashed hall, he looked around and searched for some answer. Any answer. All right. So you can see that we are definitely breaking it up by paragraph by doing some of these things. There are times where, I don't know that I would have needed to have switched it up. Like, I think that if I wanted to, I could have put some of this section together. So David's footsteps echoed down the hall, crashing into his brain. He felt alone. He wished someone would choose what to do for him. Looking down the hallway in front of him, it was abandoned. His footsteps seemed to get louder in his mind as he walked down the hall. Really, I think that if we wanted to, we could leave that as one paragraph. We wouldn't have to separate it. It's sort of one of those author's choice moves. What do you want to convey? Do you want this to feel a little more connected? Or for my character, I feel like he's very disconnected right now and is very wishy-washy, and chopping it up a little bit more helps to kind of give some of that feeling of confusion to the reader. So that's why I made that choice. Okay, continuing on. This was the moment where he had to decide, and he wasn't ready. Okay. He continued his slow pace as the halls ebbed and flowed. Let's tab that in. One moment they were full, the next he was alone again. Reaching the door, he could see his group already gathering, getting ready to play football. There was Jimmy standing on the outside of the group, trying to get everyone's attention. So, since he's sort of finishing up his time here in the hall, I thought it would make sense to leave that there altogether. One paragraph. By the time David had trudged across the field, the draft was finishing. David, what team are you on? Ooh, messed that up. David, what are you doing? Yelled Quentin. You're on our team. Okay, I could keep going, but as you notice, we've already got a lot of paragraphing done here, and I think that gives you a pretty good idea for the process of going through and paragraphing. Like I said, broke this up into more pieces than you might want to. It is sometimes nice for a reader to be able to read a section and not have to keep going to the new one because something new has happened. Since we're writing pretty fast-paced stories, we tend to move on to the next thing quite quickly. And so I think that's often why in this writing you'll see that there's tons of new paragraphs. And that's it. So to-do list. And let's get this back in the beautiful big screen. To-do list. Reread your whole story. Revise through one lens. Our lens is editing, considering paragraphs, and whether changes occurred. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed. Maybe the fastest, shortest, quickest, most expedient an episode done with alacrity so far. If you didn't know any of those words, look them up in a book or online or your phone. Yeah. Cool. Episode 13, editing for paragraphs. Hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy. Peace.